Hello viewers, this is Ashok Bose and you are watching my channel Beyond 61. So today's topic is going to be, I'm going to connect mythology with the corporate management lessons. Yes, that's right. Maybe for a change, yes, this is needed. And this is needed more in present day's context. So let's go ahead. Mythology and Puranic granthas and epics spoke on corporate management lessons, and this is not a myth. There are important management lessons from Mahabharata, and this granthas are full of lessons for today's corporate management. The corporate world exactly follows what had been written in those days. Whether a believer or a non-believer, doesn't matter. In the present day context, karma is a big fad. Karma, you must have heard a term, karma. Now this is a big fad and a trendy word derived from the Vedic literature. If a non-believer, you still use this as a style. So, whether a believer or not, karma is a widely and frequently used word. And ancient epics has too many lessons on karma, which is felt, practiced and visible in the modern corporate world. Believe it or not, it's not a myth, it's a fact. To me, yes, it's a fact. But the term karma is fashionable and is used in vogue. Whether one knows the meaning or not, but mentioning karma is certainly making a style statement. Let's, for the time being, presume it to be a mere storytelling or unworthy of believing, or we argue there's a lack of evidence, which we hear. Believing or not believing, argue there is a lack of evidence and consider it to be a mere imaginary folk tale, so be it. But undeniably, we take lessons from these folk tales. There are many books for the children too, at a tender age, where morals are there in each storybook, meant for the children. And these morals, what are they doing? The moral of the story from the children who are reading these books at a tender age derive nothing but character development. Undeniably, yes. Can you disagree? Each story develops and helps in developing character in the child. And how do they do it? From the moral of the story. And these are taught in the schools too. Let's take it that way and proceed. It to be a folk tale or a fairy tale or storytelling. Let's take it that way. Now look at what lessons we get to learn from these epical Puranic books and granthas. Be it a story or a fiction, doesn't matter, but lessons are certainly there, and it's visible, existent, and the adoption are also there in the modern corporate system. Let's take a look. How are they? Before we relate these epic or epical stories, let us understand that what do we derive out of this? One is karma, dharma, leadership, mentorship, duties and responsibilities, competition, acceptance to failure, the will to prepare and fight back, seek, accept, respect, diversity, and above all, acceptance towards the path of righteousness, which is judicially justified. So let's go further. Let's initially start with understanding what karma is all about. The processes that gives you an understanding about the practices that reflects on your performance, and the reward as per the consequences and the causes and the effects. So this is what is karma all about. Now let's relate karma through sankalp, nishtha, kartavya. These are all terms used very frequently in the epic, with that of your conduct and deliverance in the corporate terms. This is interesting. This is going to be certainly interesting. Now, how is that? The need to follow the code of conduct and process and policies. You don't do? Yes, you do. Your ways are defined as per your role. Undeniable. Your work must be in accordance with the accepted terms. This can be equated with the epics, where your work is your kartavya, which reflects in your karma. How? While you are assigned with a task, the completion, the efficiency in your karma is actually going to fetch you that result. So karma comes back. To sum up, आप संकल्प लेते हैं और ले चुके हैं. किस चीज का संकल्प लिया है? That means you have signed that paper, you have taken the offer letter, and now आपने कर्तव्य परायणता का संकल्प लिया है कि आप कर्मबद्ध हैं और आप जो है कर्म करने के लिए बिल्कुल तत्पर रहेंगे, बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाट इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यू हैव साइंड. वो भी निष्ठापूर्वक, एथिकली, मीन्स यू स्टैंड कमिटेड टू फॉलो आचार संहिता, मीन्स कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट. Code of conduct is a modern word. In epic, they say Achar Samhita. You have SOPs, you have policies for fulfilling the vision, mission, and the objective in the best interest of the organization in an ethical manner. This is all about karma. This means you have achieved that what you were born to do and reach moksha in epic, and here it is a reward in return, which comes either through appraisal or whatever. So this is how I relate karma and the epics with the corporate world. Now let's look at leadership. When we are talking about leadership, let's take Krishna as a character. While we relate him, Lord Krishna, with today's leadership, let's learn something from Krishna, who is poised, never losing his head. Even in the most severe crisis, he managed everything, and in the end, he won. He proved to be the greatest strategist and an analyst of all time, who started his job immediately from his inception, from his birth. That is what is expected out of you too. Because the moment you take that appointment letter, you are bound to follow that what is written. So you are going to give back what is written and what you have accepted. He managed all the ranks and ages and all with ease. In all time, he is an all-time negotiator, a vision or mission he looked into. Above all, he was a great visionary, a goal setter who understood the timing well, very well. He believed in equality and gave equal opportunity to all to perform, to deserve the reward and recognition. A selfless character who only gave away and absorbed all the pains he was inflicted by others. That's the quality of a leader in a true sense. So now we spoke and related Krishna with today's corporate leaders. Let's move on to the duties and responsibilities and acceptance to failure and rise again to fight back. So about this, there's a whole lot to be learned from the verses of Bhagavad Gita. The conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, despite all odds, even while the enemy were none other than their own whole family. And the numbers, look at the numbers against them fighting the war they had to face. What made them gather that courage? It was the purpose and role which needed commitment towards fulfilling the duties and responsibility with absolute commitment towards achieving the goal by making use of all the skills and resources. The fight began with the toughest competitor in front of them with greater strength and technology. Despite that, we saw unity, discipline, duty, commitment, even diversity, and skills to challenge even with the minimum resources at hand, not giving up, shifting every new strategy each day. If we relate all this, what we see in the present corporate world, can it be anything different than this? I believe not, because you have competitors, you have to sustain, you have to perform, or you perish. That is how it is. That is what is your karma. Now here we come at the toughest part of what happens after this. Karma returns. The reverberation and the cycle leading to the growth and prosperity for a peaceful and harmonious situation which would certainly return back as your karma decides, because it will be your karma which is now invisible, you've done it, will return back to you, just as similar to that of, certainly not laughable, not on a lighter note, but in the present world we have seen, or we do face, bell curves. You have performed the whole year. Relate it to today's appraisal, is it not? Today you are rated as you have performed. You don't perform, you are not rated well. You may be unhappy or happy, and that reflects in your reward and recognition. So which is guaranteed? Absolutely guaranteed. You have not performed, so you won't get good result. You perform, so you get the highest result. The highest performer gets the highest reward and even recognition. So that's how it is. So we are related to the same old philosophy in a new package in a different language. However, let's proceed further. I will speak about the span of control and unity of command now. This is a very corporate term or management term. I relate this with the epics now. In the battle of Kurukshetra, it was Pandavas versus the Kauravas, right? Look at the Pandavas, who had only one leader, who mentored all the other department, and all the hierarchy and the leadership team was assigned with their own operation, and they had a power of decision making within their department, keeping in mind a common goal. So they trusted, the leadership trusted his hierarchy, and this trust has to be there. While you are performing as a leader, you have to trust your team. So that is what has been told. So far I was talking about the Pandavas, and now let us look at the Kauravas, what they were doing, who had one man leading the whole lot and increased the span of control, because he is the one who has to monitor everything. So what he is doing is a micromanagement. He wasted his time and increased the span of control, which went seriously wrong, where supervision lacked and micromanagement diluted the whole purpose, where blame game was seen within at the lower ranks. This happened because independence of decision making was not there. That lacked. Despite resources available in abundance, coupled with huge investment, राजा महाराजा थे, वो कर सकते थे, तो resources भी है, plenty, but only centered at the leader's disposal, which is, unless approved, cannot be spent. This happened since great stalwarts had some or the other weaknesses in them, and there were infights. So this is what is the Kauravas side. So this is where leadership has failed on the Kauravas side. Thus, यहीं पे फर्क आ जाता है. Hence, the Pandavas survived in the end and won. The Kauravas killed and defeated. Here you can relate the situation with the modern management. In the corporate world where leadership, mentorship, hierarchy and chain of command, restructuring of manpower and decision making is clearly visible in the Pandavas side and not visible with the Kauravas side. Mentoring is the most essential part of leadership. Of course, Krishna as a mentor played the best role to show the path towards the success for one good reason, that he had the confidence on his warriors and he trusted them all through, and he guided and appreciated even when there were failures. So that gave them courage. So this is how, and wherever he never fought himself, he never left his chariot. He made the warriors to fight and kept on with their morals and courage. Now coming to the vision, mission, objective and the target. I should have spoken it before. However, doesn't matter. This is most important. Here in this war, the vision, mission and objective was absolutely clear and it was visible. The targets was to win over the war for a purpose. There was a purpose. और वो purpose क्या है? न्याय, justice, means dharma. All this still prevailed and are in an integral part of the business strategy. Even today, for survival, to compete, and the important part is business continuity. So this is how business survive and the sustenance goes on. Good strategy always has an edge above. Let me explain this how. This has been said in the corporate worlds too. Rather, the management philosophy has its mention that good strategy always has an edge. A great strategy works wonder. Now, how do we relate this to the epical or mythological stories? On one hand, look at the Kauravas. They lacked the very ethics and principles of natural justice and believed in the theory of self-centered expansion by winning over other kings and taking away their wealth. And in comparison, look at the smart strategy of the Pandavas, who focused on the skill development and strategy learning, and which was necessary to survive in the competition. When the competitors had potentially higher resources as well as technologically they had powerful technology and infrastructure too. Hence we see 3 out of 5 Pandavas went into acquiring Divyastra. So what are these Divyastra? These are technology, means an increased strength to equate the enemy's technology with the strategic firepower. So this is again strategic. In the present day context of business, this is a strategy of a highest level. This is so relevant and practiced by the business houses today, which is a method of survival and succeed in competition. The acceptance to the situation will the will to adopt, learn technology with this changing scenario. This leads to an edge over the competition, which is the order of the present day corporate. So this is how we relate to the epic with the corporates. Participation of women. How does it happen? Means diversity I'm talking about. Here we relate this, that this is a widely termed, diversity is a widely used term which is in practice, wherein the real acceptance and inclusion of women in participative management and decision making of today's corporate environment was visible in those times, in the epical times. It is visible now also. So this is a practice. Since we understand that diversity is an accepted norms and it's a practice, what has epic or mythology taught us in this? Look at the Pandavas. They had Kunti, Draupadis, and Subhadra on their side, and all the five Pandavas were dutiful and respected these women, including their decisions were considered, which played a big role in their life. Now look at the Kauravas, who believed in patriarchy, यानी पुरुष प्रधान नीति, and their mother was Gandhari on their side. Now seldom they heard Gandhari, neither considered for participation nor allowed her to make any kind of decision. Where Gandhari was given a due respect, on the other hand, by the Pandavas, the enemies are respecting their mother, but these guys, they don't accept her decision making. So this was a one-sided, rather a lopsided affair which was mentioned and which we have seen. Relate this to the corporate world. Treating women with equal respect without any gender bias and acceptance lead to a much higher level of creative dimension. Is it right? Now, commitment and common goal. When there is a task, there will be assignment. Even every micro assignment becomes a combined and become a common goal. They join together, all activities join together to become a common goal. To achieve a common goal, there is a need of high level of commitment until completion. This is a modern management scenario. In mythology, we see Pandavas were wholly committed with discipline, dedication, without any internal difference of opinion. Thus, the goal became common, and it became a common goal which was easily achievable. Whereas, look at the Kauravas. There were infights due to difference of opinion within themselves. That was unwarranted and uncalled for, which led to disadvantages and on many occasions. With this, I would give it a stop here by only saying that whether it is a storytelling or an epic or a mythology, as long as there are morals, there are lessons which can be learnt, why not? Let us read and understand the importance and imbibe and practice them on a day-to-day way of life, in our service life. You will be able to do justice to your chair and achieve overall well-being of the society. So this is what it is. So dharma prevails, karma returns back the way you do. If you have liked the video, please press the like button and comment, and also do not forget to subscribe by pressing the bell icon, so that start getting notifications on various topics like this or different ones. और बाहर गर्मी बहुत ज़्यादा पड़ रहा है, so it's summer now. Stay safe, be cool, drink lot of water, and keep yourself safe. Jai Sri Krishna.